Hey there, folks. Today we're diving into a hot topic that's been making waves in South Africa. Grab your popcorn because we're about to unpack the drama surrounding Operation Dudula and their controversial presence at health facilities. So picture this, you're feeling under the weather, heading to your local clinic for some much-needed medical attention. But as you approach the entrance, you're met with a group of angry protesters, shouting slogans and creating a tense atmosphere. Not exactly the healing environment you were hoping for, right? Well, that's exactly what's been happening in parts of South Africa, thanks to a group called Operation Dudula. These guys have been making quite a stir with their anti-immigrant stance, and now they've taken their show on the road to healthcare facilities. Talk about a prescription for chaos. But hold up, because the Democratic Alliance isn't having any of it. They've stepped up to the plate, calling for some serious backup in the form of public order police. It's like they're saying, hey, we need the big guns to keep these xenophobic shenanigans in check. Now let's break it down a bit. Operation Dudula, for those who might not be in the know, is a movement that's been gaining traction in South Africa. Their whole deal is pushing for stricter immigration policies and, well, let's just say they're not exactly rolling out the welcome mat for foreign nationals. But here's where things get really dicey. These Dudula folks have decided that hospitals and clinics are the perfect stage for their protests. I mean, come on, guys. People are there to get better, not to get an earful of political rhetoric. The DA, being the opposition party that they are, has taken a look at this situation and basically said, nah, not on our watch. They're worried, and rightfully so, that these protests could seriously mess with people's access to healthcare. Imagine being turned away from a hospital because some protesters decided to set up shop at the front door. Not cool, right? So what's the DA's grand plan? They're calling for the deployment of public order police to these healthcare facilities. These are the guys you call when things get a bit too rowdy on the streets. They're trained to handle crowds and keep the peace, which is exactly what the doctor ordered in this case. But let's take a step back and look at the bigger picture here. This whole situation is shining a spotlight on some pretty deep-rooted issues in South Africa. We're talking about xenophobia, immigration policies, and the right to healthcare all rolled into one messy burrito of social tension. On one hand, you have got Operation Dudula and their supporters who argue that illegal immigration is putting a strain on South Africa's resources, including its healthcare system. They claim they're just looking out for South African citizens and their interests. On the flip side, you have got human rights organizations and many others who are horrified at the thought of denying anyone medical care based on their nationality. They're saying, hey, healthcare is a basic human right, no matter where you're from. And caught in the middle of all this? The everyday people just trying to get by and stay healthy. It's like they're trapped in a real-life political drama, complete with protests, police, and plenty of heated debates. Now let's talk about why the DA's call for public order police is such a big deal. These aren't your average beat cops we're talking about. Public order police are specially trained to handle large crowds and potentially volatile situations. They're the ones you see at big protests or rallies, keeping things from getting out of hand. By calling for their deployment, the DA is essentially saying, look, this situation is serious enough that we need specialized forces to handle it. It's a move that underscores just how tense things have gotten at these healthcare facilities. But here's the million-dollar question. Will bringing in the public order police actually solve the problem? Sure, it might keep the immediate peace and ensure that people can access medical care without having to push through a crowd of angry protesters. But does it address the root causes of why Operation Dudula is out there in the first place? That's the tricky part, isn't it? It's like putting a band-aid on a broken arm. It might stop the bleeding, but it doesn't fix the underlying issue. And let's not forget about the healthcare workers in all of this. Imagine being a doctor or nurse, just trying to do your job and help people, and suddenly you're in the middle of a political firestorm. Talk about stress on top of an already stressful job. So what's the solution here? Well, if anyone had a quick and easy answer, they'd probably be up for a Nobel Peace Prize right about now. The reality is, this is a complex issue that touches on so many aspects of South African society: immigration, economics, healthcare, and national identity, just to name a few. What's clear is that something needs to be done. And fast. People's health and lives are literally on the line here. The DA's call for public order police might be a short-term solution, but in the long run, South Africa is going to need to have some serious conversations about how to address these underlying tensions. In the meantime, it is worth remembering that behind all the politics and protests are real people, South Africans and foreign nationals alike, who just want to live healthy, peaceful lives. Maybe that's something we can all agree on, regardless of which side of the debate we're on. So there you have it, folks, the lowdown on this whole Operation Dudula healthcare facility drama. It's a story that's still unfolding, and you can bet we'll be keeping our eyes peeled for what happens next. Will the public order police be deployed? Will Operation Dudula back down? Or is this just the beginning of a much larger debate about immigration and healthcare in South Africa? One thing is for sure, this isn't the kind of excitement anyone wants when they are heading to the doctor. Here's hoping that cooler heads prevail and that everyone, regardless of where they're from, can get the medical care they need without having to navigate a political minefield. Until next time, stay healthy, stay informed, and maybe send some good vibes to all those healthcare workers out there dealing with this mess. They're the real MVPs in all of this, don't you think? Catch you on the flip side.